Evening, everyone. Myself, Professor Dhriti Rawat, host of today's webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to host this webinar of Understanding of Cement Test Report. On behalf of Civil Engineering Department, I welcome you all in this webinar. There are some instructions for the participants. Please keep your microphone and video on the mute mode. If you have any query, you can directly write into the chat box. And please do not share any content on the screen during the webinar. Now, I would like to invite Dr. P.P. Lodha, HOD of Civil Engineering Department, to give the brief introduction about today's webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dhriti, madam. Just one inquiry, whether Pawan sir has joined or not yet.
Yeah, I've just.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir is here. Okay. Okay. Sir, your video is not on. Could you please, so that the audience could see you directly?
Yeah, just a second. I think I'm visible now.
Not yet. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor Dhriti Rawat just mentioned about you that we are starting this webinar on
Right.
various tests and its cement's performance, and just welcome the students. Once again, I welcome you, sir, here, Mr. Pawan Sethi, sir, to the webinar being hosted by Civil Engineering Department, VJC Chandkheda, Ahmedabad. We are very much a premier institute of Gujarat of government, and we run parallelly with the LD College of Engineering and Nirma. Here in the audience, we have opened up our channel for students as well as faculty across the Gujarat, and even some of the institute out of the Gujarat. So this is a good mix kind of audience. You may please keep a watch while delivering your lecture on it. Once again, I welcome my all participants to this webinar here. Those who have joined and joining, I welcome all of them here to this webinar, and I hope that this webinar would be very much enriching into their knowledge base. This is a second webinar, Pawan sir, in the series of cement as far as the civil engineering material is concerned. A few days back, we had a webinar on environmental aspect of manufacturing of cement, wherein one of the postdoc scholar from Canterbury University, New Zealand, he has delivered a very beautiful lecture, good lecture, and participants definitely enjoyed that lecture. I hope that today's webinar and direct interaction with you would also be far-reaching and enlightening to these participants. I request now Dhriti Madam to formally invite Mr. Pawan Sethi sir to speak on this seminar, please. Dhriti Madam, your voice is not coming. Your voice. Speak again, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir. There is a brief introduction of Mr. Pawan Sethi, Zonal Head of JK White Cement. He has worked with the national brands like Ambuja Cements Limited, JP Limited, Sanghi Cement Limited, construction projects, and now he is currently working in the JK Cement Limited. His expertise in the field of the cement and concrete technology, high-grade spatial concrete like lightweight cement, high-density cement, mineral admixtures, modified green concrete, GGBS, fly ash, high-performance concrete using chemical admixtures like high-range PC-based admixture. Today he is going to deliver his lecture on the understanding of cement test report, which was going to very much helpful for our all participants, engineers, and other field engineers to deliver his work. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Dhriti ma'am. I'm sir. I would like Abhishek to please start presenting, please. Yeah. Yeah, Abhishek, you are visible. Thank you. Your presentation is visible. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now understanding cement test report, though the subject looks very simple and very easy, but as you go inside, you will feel ki now understanding test report of a cement is not so easy and it has many complexities. So, being a civil engineer, we have chosen such a field. Now, whether you complete your BE, then join any consultant firm as a senior as an engineer, consultant engineer, or you join an architect and join as a quality engineer under him. Whether you do your post graduation and work as a structural designer yourself, whether you start your own business as a builder, as a contractor, or join your father's business, or whether you join any other big multinational or national company as a quality control engineer, whatever the case may be, cement and concrete will be an integral part of your career for your life. Whether you like it or not, but you cannot ignore the cement component of the concrete, and understanding a cement is only possible through the test report. So that is why I've taken the topic to start with. We have various modules for the students everywhere. First we start with cement, then the second module will be concrete, and so on. Now, understanding cement test reports, I like to begin with. Next, please. Yeah, start with the introduction. Now, a cement test report is divided into two parts, the physical analysis and the chemical analysis. We have covered PPC, that is Portland Pozzolana cement, and ordinary Portland cement 53 grade in this presentation. White Portland cement and wall putty test reports have also been included separately. A PPC is tested as per requirements of IS 1489 Part 1, that is fly ash based. And for all OPC, the IS code is 269/2015. And for the white Portland cement, the IS code is 8042. The last point, it is very important to read the batch number. The batch number of cement, any cement bag where you see, there is week number, the month number, and the year written on the bag. Same has to be mentioned by the manufacturer on the test report. This is to be mentioned on test report to be provided to a customer. On the test report, it is written as date of sample. For example, 17/01/2020. The month will be 01 and the week will be 03 as given on the bottom. Yeah. Next, we have started the physical analysis. The first and the important parameter under the physical analysis comes the setting time. Now, setting time is very important parameter because if the setting time is too slow, it will cause pumping issue at especially high-rise structures. If the setting time is too fast, it may cause some other delayed issues. So we'll look into it. Now, initial setting time, IST, OPC 53 requirements as per IS code is minimum 30 minutes, as you can see in the table above. The OPC 53 actual results in India is between 100 to 150 minutes. The final setting time FST maximum 600 minutes. कोई भी cement 600 minutes से ज़्यादा set नहीं होना चाहिए. It should have a maximum 600 minutes final setting time, and the Indian cements show a final setting time range of 180 to 210 minutes, about 3 to 3.5 hours. Now, if you look at the PPC cement, the requirement is same, minimum 30 minutes and maximum 600 minutes. In India, the actual results for initial setting time for PPC are between 120 to 150 minutes, and for final setting time for PPC are between 180 to 240 minutes. Now we look at the points below. First point, the setting time of cement paste is defined by its initial and final sets. The time at which initial set takes place is when the cement paste begins to stiffen considerably, and the final set roughly indicates the time at which the paste has started to harden just enough to support some load. So when it begins to stiffen, it is the initial setting time, and when it begins to harden just like a stone, it is considered as the final setting time. There is a procedure in the with the help of VCAT apparatus where we can find the IST and FST. Third point, as per IS code, requirement for initial and final setting time are 30 minutes minimum and 600 minutes maximum respectively. Today's cements have an actual IST and FST range as mentioned in the table above. Next, please. Now the setting time is controlled by a chemical called gypsum, that is CaSO4 or CaSO4 2H2O, gypsum anhydride. Now gypsum is added in about 3 to 5% range in cement to control its setting time. So here the gypsum is a retarder. More the quantity of gypsum, more will be the setting time and vice versa. Second point, IS code requirements for IST and FST are same for both OPC and PPC, that is 30 minutes minimum and 600 minutes maximum. A third point, a cement that sets too fast may cause sudden concrete slump drop and problems in concrete pumping at site. For example, as I come from Bombay, we have a very high-rise structures and the concrete is produced in one location, for example, Bandra. It has to be transported to another location, that is say Dadar. So it takes a time of minimum 1.5 to 2 hours for a concrete mixer or the transit mixer to reach Dadar to from Bandra to Dadar. In that time, the concrete should not set. At the same time, it should be pumpable when it reaches the site. So if the cement setting time is too fast, it will cause pumping issue and your pump will get choked. So quality control engineer needs to keep a check on it. A very slow setting cement may cause issues during the de-shuttering. If the cement is very slow setting, it will cause delay in the de-shuttering. For example, if you have cast a column in the evening and you go to de-shutter in the next morning, you see when you de-shutter, the concrete will come out along with the shuttering. So this is caused due to delayed shuttering. A quality control engineer must ensure that the cement is of optimum setting time. Next, please. Now, second important point is the compressive strength. Now, compressive strength is measured as per IS code for 3, 7 and 28 days. Few cement companies also mention 1 day strength to highlight their high 1 day strength. Now, OPC 53 requirements, NA not available for 1 day. OPC 53 actual results in India are between 18 to 25 MPa. 3 days minimum strength should be 27 MPa. We get a strength of 35 to 41 MPa in India. 7 day 37 MPa. We get a strength of 44 to 51 MPa. And 28 days, which is also called as the ultimate strength, should be minimum 53 MPa for OPC 53. We get a strength range of 58 to 65 MPa. Now we look at the PPC requirements. Again, 1 day strength is not available as per IS codal provisions. We get a strength of 16 to 20 MPa in Indian cement conditions. 3 day strength of minimum requirement is 17 MPa. We get a strength of 22 to 28 MPa. 7 day should be 22 MPa minimum. We get 34 to 40 MPa. And 28 day, it should be minimum 33 MPa. We get a strength range of almost double, 52 to 60 MPa. If you look at the 1 day, 3 day, 7 day strength of PPC in comparison to OPC, PPC shows a slower rate of gain of strength, but at 28 days it almost matches the strength of OPC 53. And if you go further, 3 months, 6 months and 1 year, the PPC strength surpasses the OPC strength. This is on account of the secondary gel reaction that occurs because of the microsilica or the silica particles that are available in the PPC cement. Now we look below. Cement compressive strength is expressed in MPa, that is megapascal. Someone can also say it as Newton per mm square. 1 megapascal equal to 10.21 kg per centimeter square. Next, please. Now, the compressive strength is the most important physical property that a consumer looks into. As a quality control engineer, you would definitely want that the design strength should be achieved anyhow. So that is why it is the most important parameter. Second point, cement is tested for 3, 7 and 28 day strength, and OPC 53 grade cement has a compressive strength of 53 MPa and above at 28 days. Minimum requirement and actual cement strength range for OPC and PPC are as given in the previous slide on the table on the previous slide. Fourth point, few cement companies also mention their 1 day strength in the test report to highlight their high earlier strength. For example, again, as I say, we have a very high rise structures in Bombay and they normally use aluminum shuttering or Maiwan shuttering, we call it. They are just like a Xerox machine for a building. Each and every floor will be a Xerox machine of the above. So नीचे की floor है, उसका भी dimension, thickness, everything will be same, and the above floor, all the floors will have the same, exactly the same dimension, whether it is the wall thickness whether it is the slab thickness or any other element, it will be same. So in that condition, when you cast with the Maiwan shuttering, you should have a very high one day strength, because the de-shuttering is done on the very next day, and on the third day the next part of the concreting begins. Like for example, you have cast 1.5 meter on day 1, day 2 you do the de-shuttering and put on the reinforcement, and day 3 you are ready for the concreting again. So that is why you need a very high 1 day or 2 day strength, so that on the third day the concrete is ready to take the load, that is the dead load that will be coming on it. So that is why few cement companies highlight the 1 day strength, so that it is of use to the builder and the engineer at site. And last point, it is very important to procure cement from a reliable brand, as they have a consistent quality. Now, it is very easy for any cement company to manufacture a good strength, but to manufacture a cement of good strength, a consistent quality throughout the year and maintain it throughout the year, it is very difficult. We mention it in the form of standard deviation in the various properties. So that is why for a quality control engineer, purchasing a cement from a reliable brand is of utmost importance, because they have the required say machinery and the testing equipment required to maintain the consistent quality throughout the year. Next please. Now the third and very important point is the fineness. The fineness of cement has a direct impact on the water requirement of the cement paste. More fine the cement, more will be the water requirement, because the surface area is increasing and vice versa. So we need to have an optimum fineness in cement. Now fineness is measured in meter square per kg. The OPC 53 requirement more than 225 meter square per kg. OPC 53 actual result range is between 290 to 330 meter square per kg in India. If you look at the PPC is slightly finer than OPC, more than 300 meter square per kg is the IS code requirement. We get a fineness range of 320 to 360 meter square per kg in India. Now, fineness of cement is measured using Blaine's air permeability method. Today's cements have actual fineness range of 290 to 330 meter square per kg for OPC 53 and 320 to 360 meter square per kg for PPC. Fineness of cement has a direct effect on the rate at which cement hydrates. Finer the cement, because the surface area is increased, faster will be the rate of hydration of the cement and vice versa. But up to a certain limit, if the fineness increases after that limit, it will have an impact on the water requirement of the cement, and you will face more water required for the concrete, and that may reduce your strength also. So an optimization in the fineness has to be done. Next please. Now the fourth and very important parameter that determines the final water requirement of the cement paste is the standard or normal consistency. Standard consistency, OPC 53 requirements, IS code does not mention, not available in the IS code any parameter. OPC 53 actual result range for standard or normal consistency are between 28 to 31% in India. The PPC requirement, again NA in India not available. In PPC, the result range is between 29 to 31.5%. Now we look at the definition of standard consistency. Standard consistency of cement paste is defined as that consistency or the percentage of water which permits the Vicat plunger to penetrate up to 5 to 7 mm from the bottom of the Vicat mold. This is the classic definition as per the IS code. There is an apparatus of the Vicat mold where you add the percentages of water and you get the desired standard consistency known. Second point, now standard consistency or normal consistency NC is referred to as that percentage of water to be added to cement to make a paste of standard workable consistency. Higher will be the NC, higher will be the water demand, and vice versa. The third point, a cement with lower NC will have lesser water demand for making a workable concrete mix than a cement with higher NC. Hence, such a cement will be preferred by a quality control engineer at site. It is very important for a quality control engineer to understand that higher will be the water percentage, lesser will be the compressive strength, because water has an inverse proportion or inversely related to the compressive strength of concrete. Lesser the water added to concrete, more will be Next, please, Abhishek. Yeah. Now, soundness of cement is again a very, very important parameter. It determines the durability of concrete in the long run. IS code has said 2 tests need to be done to understand the soundness of cement. First is the Leach-Atelier method, where the soundness is measured in millimeter. The range is maximum 10 mm. And second test is the autoclave method, where the expansion is measured in percentage. It should be maximum 0.8%. The OPC 53 actual results in India between 0.8 to 1.2 mm and 0.01 to 0.15% respectively. Now the PPC requirements as per IS code are same, maximum 10 mm and maximum 0.8% respectively. We get actual result range of 0.8 to 1.2 mm and 0.01 to 0.15% respectively. Now what is soundness? Soundness refers to the ability of hardened cement paste to retain its volume after setting without the delayed destructive expansion caused due to the presence of excessive free lime CaO or oblique and magnesia MgO. Now if there is presence of excess free lime or magnesia, it will cause an expansion in the concrete, and there will be a delayed destructive expansion which will cause internal and external cracks on the concrete. Next please. Sorry. Next point is unsound cement have tendency. Point number 2, unsound cements have tendency to undergo large expansion after setting. If the cement is unsound, it will expand, which may cause serious durability issues, and soundness tests are conducted. For example, just close your eyes and imagine a tile at your site. It is being the cement paste is applied on it, and it is pasted on the wall. The dado tile that is applied in the normally the kitchen and the washrooms or the bathrooms. If the cement is unsound, what will happen? The cement will start to expand. It will put a pressure on the nearest surface, that is the weakest surface, that is the tile, and the tile will crack. And in the worst case scenario, the cement and the tile will come out and fall on the ground from the wall. So this is the case. This is a very classic example and a very common the problem that is faced with the unsound cements. If the cement is unsound, the tile will fall off. It will fall on the ground. So whenever you see such a cement at your site, you be sure that the cement is unsound quality. Now, third point, Leach-Atelier test. Why 2 tests? Why not only 1 test? Leach-Atelier test has a drawback. It detects unsoundness caused by lime only and not magnesia. Hence, cements with magnesia content more than 3% shall be tested for soundness by autoclave method also. So IS code says that the Leach-Atelier test has a slight drawback, and that is why cements with MgO more than 3% should be tested for autoclave method also. Next please. Now we look at the chemical analysis. And the first part in the chemical analysis is the loss on ignition. We call it LOI. Now LOI should be maximum 4% in OPC 53. OPC 53 actual result range in India is between 1.5 to 3%. PPC requirement maximum 5%. PPC actual range in India is between 1.5 to. Now this test is conducted at 950 degrees Celsius, and it gives an indication of prehydration and carbonation of cement. Second point, the amount of LOI is generally an indication of the freshness of cement. Fresher the cement, lesser will be the LOI, and vice versa. For LOI, the guidelines for OPC 53 is slightly stricter than that for PPC. If you see above, it is 4% for OPC and 5% for PPC. This is because PPC has an additional content of fly ash that is added to it during the manufacture, and this fly ash may contain some carbon content, unburned coal content, and due to which the LOI may increase. So that is why the limit is 5% for PPC. The permissible limits and actual result range for today's cements are as mentioned in the table above. Next please. Second and very important parameter for the chemical analysis is the insoluble residue. Now IR, OPC 53 maximum should be 5%. In India we get a range of for IR. Now the PPC requirement is calculated by the formula in the 100 minus X bracket declared percentage of fly ash is added by the manufacturing. PPC actual result range are in between 18 to 38% for insoluble residue. Now, what is insoluble residue? Insoluble residue is the material in the cement which does not take part in its initial cementing action. This residue material affects the properties of cement early composition. As we go look at the strength, as I mentioned, the strength of PPC in OPC earlier, the 1 day, 3 day, and 7 day strength of PPC is very low in comparison to OPC, and this is the reason why insoluble residue is very high in PPC, and that is why it lags in the 1 day, 3 day, and 7 day strength. And as the secondary gel reaction due to the fly ash starts occurring, the ultimate strength, 28 day strength, and lateral strength, 3 days, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year strength ultimately goes on increasing, and at a particular point of time it surpasses the strength of the OPC also. So that is the reason why PPC cements have slightly lesser strength initially. Now the IR requirement for OPC 53 are stricter than that for PPC. If you see above, actual results for OPC are between 1 to 3.5, and for PPC are between 18 to 38%. So big difference. And fourth point, IR for PPC is calculated as per the formula given above. Here X is the declared percentage of fly ash, 15 to 35% in PPC. The IS code says that there should be minimum 15% and maximum 35% fly ash that can be added by the manufacturer to manufacture PPC cement. Next, please. The third and important parameter is the sulfur content as sulfuric anhydride, SO3. Now, SO3 should be maximum 3.5% as per IS. Requirement is again the same, maximum 3.5%. We get our actual result of 2.5 to 2.5% in India. The points below, first point, the SO3 in cement is mainly contributed by gypsum, CaSO4. CaSO4 which is to be added to control the setting time of cement during the hydration process. Now from the CaSO4, the CaO gets separated and SO3 is released, which joins the SO3 content overall in the cement. Low proportion of SO3 in cement would result in flash setting of cement and affect the strength and other properties of mortar or concrete in which it is used. Higher percentage of SO3 would lead to sulfate expansion and disintegration of mortar or concrete in which cement is used. So SO3 content should be within 3.5, otherwise it will cause the sulfate expansion. The values for SO3 content for OPC and PPC for today's cements are as mentioned in table above along with the IS requirements. Next, please. Fourth parameter is the magnesia content, MgO. Now, MgO OPC 53 should be less than 6%. The actual result range in India are between 0.5 to 3%. For PPC, the requirement is same. It should be less than 6%. We get a range of 0.5 to 3.5% for MgO. If MgO is present in crystalline or free form above the certain limits, it leads to unsoundness problems, that is volume expansion, leading to disintegration of cement mortar concrete. MgO is commonly found in cement raw materials. In cement clinker, it acts as a fluxing agent. Hence, a small percentage of it has a beneficial effect on clinker chemistry. If you look at the previous percentages, they were only 1, 2, 3%. MgO should be less than, it has a higher percentage requirement, less than 6%. Up to 6% it is permissible. Why? Because a small percentage of it has a beneficial effect on clinker chemistry. Third point, MgO along with tricalcium aluminate, C3A, and tetracalcium aluminoferrite, C4AF, form the liquid part of clinker. Now, C3A and C4AF are the two compounds out of the 4 compounds of cement. The 4 compounds of cement are C3S, C2S, C3A, and C4AF. So these two, C3A and C4AF, form the liquid part along with the MgO here during the clinker manufacturing process. Now, maximum limit for MgO in OPC 53 and PPC is 6% as per IS code, and the values obtained in today's cements are as mentioned in the table above. Next, please. Now, the fifth point is the chloride content. Now, if you look at the chloride content, it should be maximum 0.1% only. Now, OPC 53 actual result range in India are between 0.01 to 0.035%. Now the PPC requirement again is the same, 0.1% maximum. The PPC actual results are between 0.01 to 0.035%. Now chloride present in concrete causes the reinforcement, steel embedments and pre-stressed steel wires to rust. Due to this rusting, iron oxide is formed, which increases the volume of steel at times up to 8 times its original volume. Now, for example, just imagine a column which has 4 bars of 10 mm each. Now, if the chloride attack occurs on the concrete and it attacks the steel also, it will start forming the iron oxide. And in the worst case scenario, the 10 mm bar will expand to up to 80 mm its original strength from the original size of 10 mm. This is the worst case scenario. Point number 2, this expansion in volume of steel creates tension in concrete, which ultimately results in disintegration of concrete and reduction in its load carrying capacity. Third point, to enhance durability of structure, the total permissible chloride content in concrete should be limited to 0.1% by weight of cement for pre-stressed concrete and 0.15% by weight of cement for other RCC concrete structures. For the safer side, all the cement companies take their chloride content to be maximum 0.1% only, so that it may be used in any type of concrete, whether it is pre-stressed or other RCC. And the fourth point is, chlorides are present everywhere. They are present in cement, it is present in aggregates, it is present in additives, the chemical admixtures that we normally add to reduce the water demand of concrete or to retard the concrete further. As in Bombay, we do it very normally. And fourth is the water. Chloride is also present in water. The IS requirements and actual results found in today's cements are as mentioned in the table above. Now, it is very important for a quality control engineer to control the chloride content, especially in the cement as well as the additives or the admixture that we are adding. In India, we normally add the naphtha based or the PC based admixture, and they also have a considerable amount of chloride content in them. For a quality control engineer, they should buy such admixture from a reliable brand and ensure that the chloride content is mentioned in the test report also, and it is within the permissible limit. Next, please. Yeah. Next is the alkali content. Now, alkalis are very, very important in terms of the disintegration they cause in the later stage of concrete life. Now, alkali content is measured by the formula Na2O plus 0.658 K2O. It should be maximum 0.6% in OPC as well as PPC. In India, we get a range of 0.3 to 0.5% for the alkali content. Now, alkali content is defined as the content of sodium oxide Na2O and potassium oxide K2O in cement. Harmful chemical reactions occur between cement and certain alkali reactive silica present in some aggregates. This causes concrete disintegration and cracking. There is a certain destructive reaction, chemical reaction that occurs between the cement as well as the some silica that is reactive nature in the aggregates. So for a quality control engineer, investigation, especially in high-rise structure, it is very important to investigate whether the aggregates at his site are reactive silica or not. Now the third point, how do we control it? Use of low alkali cement, use of blended cements like Portland Pozzolana cement and Portland slag cement. Just a minute. Yeah. Use of non-reactive aggregates, use of alkali silica reaction inhibiting salts, the salts that reduce the ASR reaction, etc. are some of the methods to control ASR at site. For a quality control engineer, this is very important. The point number 3, that is the non-reactive aggregates. Now, if you start a site and you find the aggregate source, shortlist a source, and if you see the history of that source and find that the concrete is not of ASR, that it doesn't have the reactive silica content in it. This can be done by testing, the chemical testing of that aggregates in any lab. So it is, if we find that it is of reactive in nature, you should stop the supply and procure aggregates from some other source which doesn't have the ASR reaction or the reactive silica in it. Next, please. Now, after this, the third type of cement that we look into is the white Portland cement. Now, white Portland cement is normally not used for any structural purposes. It is of decorative in nature. And that is why we have a separate IS code for the white Portland cement. White Portland cement is governed by IS 8042-2015 for its detailed specification. For architectural purposes, a pastel finish is sometimes required for finishing and decorative work in concrete, which is achieved by using white Portland cement. This type of cement has also an advantage that it is not liable to cause staining since it has a low content of soluble alkalis. Third point, white Portland cement is made from raw materials containing very little iron oxide and manganese oxide. Now, iron oxide and manganese oxides are the chemicals which impart grey color to the grey cement or the ordinary Portland cement. And as per IS code, you have to maintain a very low percentage of these oxides so as to maintain the whiteness of white Portland cement. Limited quantities of certain chemicals which will improve the whiteness of cement without affecting the physical properties may be added during the manufacture. For example, the dolomite is also added by some companies. Fourth point, due to its high input cost of raw material and the process for production and the quality control, white Portland cement is much costlier than ordinary Portland cement or Portland pozzolana cement. While OPC or PPC you can buy at about 6 to 7 rupees a kg, white Portland cement you buy at a range of 40 to 45 rupees a kg. This is because of high input cost in the manufacturing and the raw material. Now the chemical analysis first. All the points from point number 7 in the chemical analysis are more or less in line with the OPC except for point number 5, which is the iron oxide. The iron oxide expressed as Fe2O3 should be 1% maximum. Now, as I said earlier, iron oxide and manganese oxide and few other oxides are the main reason for the grey color of the grey cement. They impart color, grey color to the grey cement. And that is why IS code says there should be a permissible limit to it, 1% maximum. JK White cement has a range of 0.2 to 0.3% for the iron oxide content. Now we look at the point number 1, LOI 10% max, we get a range of 3.5 to 4.5. Magnesia 6% max, we get a range of 2 to 3%. SO3 content 3.5% max, we get a range of 2 to 3.2%. Insoluble residue IR, we get a 4% max, we get a range of 1 to 2%. Iron oxide we have already seen. Point number 6 is the chloride, 0.1% max. It should be JK cement has a range of 0.01 to 0.04%. And last is the LSF, lime saturation factor. It should be between 0.66 to 1.02. We have a range of 0.85 to 0.95. IS 8042-2015 recommends strict control on iron oxide so as to maintain the desired whiteness of end product. To achieve this, superior raw material and specified processes are used. Now, how to measure the desired whiteness, we'll see in the next 2-3 slides later. Now, other chemical parameters except LOI are in line or exactly the same as that of OPC 53. Next one, please. The next slide is the physical analysis of white Portland cement. All of the points are more or less the same except for point number 2 and point number 5. Now we look at the point number 2 first, the degree of whiteness. The degree of whiteness requirement as per IS code is 70% minimum. The whiteness of white Portland cement should be minimum 70%. And this, how is it measured? We'll see in the next slide. Now, JK White cement has a range of 85 to 95% for the degree of whiteness. Now we look at from point number 1, that is the fineness. It is measured in meter square per kg. IS code says it should be minimum 225. We get a range of 325 to 350 meter square per kg for JK White cement. If you see, it is more finer than any other OPC cement. Now, initial and final setting time, again the same, 30 minutes minimum, 600 minutes maximum. We get a setting time IST of 80 to 90 minutes and FST between 120 to 130 minutes. Now, soundness test, again the same, Leach Atelier 10 mm